No one's coming to save you. Let that sink in. Nobody's going to knock on your door, hand you your dreams, and tell you it's your time. Nobody's going to feel the pain you feel, fight the battles you fight, or bleed the blood you bleed. You can scream for help all you want, but eventually, you'll realize the only voice echoing back is your own. That's when it hits you. This fight, this climb, this journey is yours, and yours alone. The world doesn't owe you understanding, sympathy, or validation. It doesn't care how tired you are, how unfair life has been, or how many people walked out on you. It's not cruel, it's just indifferent. The sooner you accept that truth, the sooner you start building the kind of strength no one can take from you. You are the rescue mission. You are the plan. You are the one who has to crawl out of the pit when no one reaches down. People might say they'll be there. They might promise support. But when the storms hit, everyone scatters to protect their own peace. That's life. Don't take it personal. Use it. When you realize you can't rely on anyone to save you, you unlock something powerful. You start moving differently. You stop wasting time complaining, hoping, or begging for help. You start putting in the work that most people will never see. And that's where transformation begins. You have to understand, waiting for someone to lift you up is a slow death. Every second you wait is a second you could have used to move an inch forward. Every time you blame someone else, you give away control. The moment you take full ownership, not just of your wins, but of your pain, your failures, your setbacks, that's the moment you become unstoppable. When you stop expecting the world to care, you start creating your own fire. You start becoming the kind of person who can stand in the dark and still move forward without direction, without comfort, without applause. This world rewards self-starters. It rewards those who push through when nobody's watching. When you're the only one grinding at 2 a.m., when you're the only one who believes in a dream that everyone laughs at, that's when your real power is being forged. No one sees it, no one praises it, but those lonely hours are the difference between average and elite. You build resilience in silence. You build confidence in the grind. You build faith in yourself every time you keep going when you had every reason to quit. People think they need motivation, but what they really need is accountability to themselves. Motivation fades, but ownership never does. If you want something bad enough, stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for signs, support, or someone to walk the path with you. Walk it alone, fall alone, rise alone. That's how you learn what you're made of. Every time you fall and get back up without anyone's help, you're telling yourself, I can survive this. I can handle this. I don't need saving because I'm already my own savior. No one's coming to fix your life. No one's going to chase your dream for you, build your discipline for you, or face your demons for you. The world doesn't care about excuses. It only respects results. You can either stay a victim of your circumstances or become the architect of your comeback. You can stay broken and hope someone puts you back together, or you can gather the pieces yourself and rebuild into something stronger than before. Every day you wake up, you have two choices. Wait for someone to do it for you, or become the one who does it no matter what. When you accept that there's no help coming, you stop wasting energy wishing for an easier path. You start using that energy to become harder, sharper, smarter. You stop running from the pain and start running toward it because you understand that's where the growth lives. You start realizing that being alone in your struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's molding you into someone who can stand when everyone else falls, who can walk through the storm and still keep moving when others look for shelter. The world might not owe you anything, but you owe yourself everything. Every ounce of effort, every drop of sweat, every second of fight you've got left. Embrace the silence. When the noise of the world fades, when the distractions disappear, when it's just you and the grind, that's when the truth finally speaks. Most people can't handle silence because it exposes them. It shows them what they've been avoiding, their weaknesses, their fears, their lack of discipline. But the silence isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. It forces you to face who you are when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's validating your effort. That's where you start building the foundation that nobody can shake. In the quiet, you stop pretending, you stop performing, and you start becoming. When you're alone with your thoughts, the real battle begins. There's no music to drown out the doubt, no voice telling you you're doing great. It's just you and the grind staring each other down. That's where you either fold or grow. Loneliness isn't punishment. It's the proving ground for people who refuse to be average. The silence tests your focus. It asks, can you still work when nobody sees you? Can you still push when there's no one cheering you on? Most people can't. They need noise, attention, approval. But greatness lives in solitude. It's born in the hours when everyone else is sleeping, when you're out there putting in work that nobody will ever thank you for. Isolation is where you start to hear your own voice again. You stop being influenced by the world's opinions, by the expectations that try to shape you. You start realizing that silence is strength because it teaches you to depend on yourself. It teaches you patience, focus, and mental toughness. When the world is quiet, your excuses get loud. Every lie you tell yourself about why you can't, every reason you give for why it's not the right time, it all echoes in the silence. And if you have the courage to listen, you'll start cutting away the weakness one thought at a time. The silence will challenge you. It will make you uncomfortable. It will make you question whether you're doing enough, whether you're good enough. But that's the beauty of it. In that discomfort, you're growing. In that stillness, you're sharpening your mind. You're learning how to rely on yourself, how to push through boredom, doubt, and fear. You're learning that peace isn't found in comfort. It's built through struggle. When you learn to stay calm in the silence, the chaos of life can't touch you. You become unshakable because you've already faced the hardest opponent, yourself. The grind is quiet. Success doesn't make noise in the beginning. It's long, it's lonely, and it's repetitive. Most people quit because they think nobody sees them. They think the silence means they're invisible. But the truth is, silence is where you build momentum. It's where you learn to fall in love with the process. The world might not see you now, but the silence is sculpting you into someone worth noticing. Every lonely rep, every unseen hour, every quiet night you spend pushing forward is building something the noise could never create. Real confidence, real self-respect, real strength. You can't find yourself in the crowd. You can't hear your calling when the world is screaming at you to fit in. You have to step away, to detach, to isolate. You have to get comfortable being alone with your thoughts, your failures, your ambitions. That's how you find direction. That's how you develop clarity. The silence strips away the fake, the shallow, and the weak. It forces you to rebuild from the inside out. And when you come out of that silence, you're sharper, harder, and more disciplined than you've ever been. People fear silence because it exposes the truth, but that's exactly why you should embrace it. The silence is where you meet the real you, the version that doesn't quit when it hurts. It doesn't need applause to keep going. The silence is your training ground. It's where your mind becomes a weapon. It's where you stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. It's where you learn that peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the mastery of it. When you embrace the silence, you stop running from yourself and start building the strength to walk alone through any storm. Pain is the price of freedom. You can't earn real strength, real confidence, or real peace without first paying the cost and suffering. Walking alone hurts. That's the point. Growth isn't supposed to feel good. It's supposed to break you open, tear down who you were, and force you to rebuild into something stronger. Every scar, every bruise, every sleepless night is a down payment on the person you're becoming. You can't skip the pain and expect a reward. You can't pray for strength and then run from the things that build it. Pain is the entry fee for greatness, and most people never make it through the door because they're too afraid to pay. When you're out there grinding and nobody sees you, when your body aches and your mind starts whispering that it's not worth it, that's when you're being tested. That's when you decide whether you're chasing comfort or chasing growth, because comfort is the trap that keeps people weak. It promises relief, but it steals your freedom. It keeps you dependent on easy things, soft choices, temporary pleasure. Pain is the opposite. Pain strips away everything fake. It shows you what's real. It shows you what you're made of when there's nothing left to prove. No one left to impress. Just the grind and your will to keep going. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from mastering it. You earn freedom when you stop running from the things that scare you. You earn it when you face your demons head on, when you sit in the discomfort long enough to understand it. Most people think pain is punishment, but it's actually the invitation to evolve. The truth is, there's no shortcut through suffering. Every ounce of growth is bought with struggle. Every step toward freedom costs a piece of the old you. The lazy you, the afraid you, the version that wanted it easy. You have to learn to see pain differently. Pain isn't there to stop you. It's there to shape you. It's the signal that something inside you is being forged. Every rep that burns, every mile that hurts, every lonely night when you question why you're even doing it. That's transformation happening in real time. That's the fire refining you. When you push through pain, you're not just getting stronger physically, you're training your mind to stop flinching at life. You're teaching yourself to stay calm in the chaos, to keep moving when it feels impossible. That kind of strength can't be faked and it can't be gifted. It has to be earned the hard way. Pain is the reason why some people rise while others fade. The ones who learn to carry it, to use it, to embrace it as part of the process. They're the ones who break free. They understand that the pain doesn't mean they're failing. It means they're alive. It means they're pushing limits most people never touch. It means they're walking through the fire while everyone else watches from a safe distance. The fire hurts, but it also purifies. It burns away the fear, the doubt, the weakness, until all that's left is raw willpower and truth. Freedom is expensive. It costs every excuse you've ever made, every comfort you've ever clung to, every moment you could have quit but didn't. You can't buy it with words. You buy it with sacrifice. You buy it by showing up when you're tired, by choosing the hard road over the easy one, by bleeding for a dream that no one else understands. Pain is the only currency that matters in the pursuit of real freedom, because it's the one thing you can't fake. You can fake motivation, you can fake confidence, but you can't fake suffering. Every lonely rep, every quiet battle, every unseen effort, that's the grind, carving your soul into something unbreakable. The world might not see your pain, but it will see your transformation. You don't get stronger by being comfortable. You get stronger by surviving what was meant to destroy you. You learn to walk through the fire without flinching. You learn to take the hit and keep moving. You learn that the pain isn't the enemy, it's the path. And every time you choose to step into it instead of away from it, you move one step closer to real freedom. Build unshakable discipline. When you're alone, there's no one to motivate you, no one to cheer you on, no one to remind you why you started. That's where discipline becomes the difference between dreamers and doers. Motivation is fleeting. It fades the moment life gets hard, the moment your emotions shift, or when results don't show up fast enough. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't need inspiration, applause, or perfect timing. It's the force that drives you forward when your mind screams to stop. It's the voice that says, get up, even when your body says you can't. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when no one's watching and you feel like nothing's working. You build discipline in the moments when quitting feels easier. It's forged in the repetition of small, thankless actions. Waking up early, grinding through the pain, showing up day after day with no guarantee of success. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's boring, lonely, and demanding. It doesn't reward you instantly. It tests you endlessly. But through that test, it molds you into something unstoppable. Every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen your mind. Every time you follow through on your word when nobody cares, you build trust in yourself. That self-trust becomes your power, because once you know you'll do what you say you will, nothing can shake you. Most people rely on feelings to decide what they do. They wait to feel ready, to feel motivated, to feel inspired. But the truth is, you'll rarely feel any of that. Real progress doesn't come from feelings, it comes from discipline. Discipline doesn't ask if you're tired, if you're comfortable, or if you're in the mood. It demands that you move anyway. It demands that you do the work regardless of how you feel, because you've made a commitment to yourself that's stronger than emotion. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is eternal. It's the anchor that keeps you steady when the storms of doubt and distraction hit. Discipline is built in solitude, when there's no spotlight, no recognition, and no one to validate your effort. That's when it grows strongest. You have to learn to find satisfaction in the process itself, not in the outcome, not in the praise, not in the applause. The grind itself has to become your fuel. You have to fall in love with consistency, with showing up even when it doesn't make sense, even when you're the only one who believes it will pay off. The quiet hours, the lonely mornings, the unseen sacrifices, that's where you're shaping the version of yourself that's unbreakable. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You're going to fall short. You're going to fail. But discipline doesn't let you stay down. It doesn't let you drown in self-pity or dwell on mistakes. It forces you to stand up, adjust, and keep moving. Every time you get back up after failing, you reinforce your strength. Every time you choose to stay committed instead of giving in, you reinforce your identity as someone who doesn't quit. That's how discipline becomes part of your DNA. Through repetition, through struggle, through showing up no matter what. You can't build discipline in comfort. Comfort weakens the edge. It dulls the blade. Discipline comes from pushing past comfort, from training your mind to obey your goals, not your emotions. You have to become ruthless about your habits. You have to decide that you'll do what's necessary, not what's convenient. It's waking up when the bed feels warm and your mind tells you to rest. It's going to work when there's no applause, no excitement, just grind. Discipline doesn't give you options. It gives you direction. It gives you structure in chaos, focus in distraction, and strength in weakness. The truth is, discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's proof that you value your word more than your comfort. It's the ultimate act of self-control, choosing long-term growth over short-term relief, choosing purpose over pleasure, choosing commitment over emotion. When you build discipline, you no longer depend on motivation. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You create it through action. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. It's the key that unlocks your potential because it turns every obstacle into an opportunity to prove yourself. And once you build it, once it becomes part of who you are, nothing external can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. Hebrew would turn isolation into power. Being alone isn't weakness. It's leverage. It's the space where you stop hearing the noise of everyone else's doubts and start listening to your own truth. When the world goes quiet and you're left with just your thoughts, that's when you begin to understand what you're truly capable of. Isolation isn't a curse. It's the crucible that forges real strength. Most people run from it because it exposes their fears and insecurities. But the few who embrace it learn to use it as fuel. When you learn to stand alone, you become dangerous because you no longer depend on approval, comfort, or company to move forward. Isolation gives you clarity. When you're surrounded by people, opinions, and distractions, your vision gets clouded. Everyone has something to say. Everyone wants to influence your path. And if you're not careful, you start chasing goals that aren't even yours. But when you're alone, you strip all that away. You start to see what matters, what drives you, and what's holding you back. Clarity comes when you stop trying to be understood and start understanding yourself. You realize that solitude isn't loneliness, it's focus. It's a sharpening tool that cuts away the unnecessary so you can zero in on your purpose without noise, without pressure, without influence. Isolation builds hunger. When you're out there grinding by yourself with no one to clap for you, no one to cheer, no one to notice your effort, something inside you shifts. You stop doing it for recognition and start doing it for results. The hunger that comes from solitude is different. It's pure. It's the kind that can't be faked or forced because it's born from being underestimated, from being ignored, from being alone in the trenches with nothing but your willpower. That hunger becomes your advantage. It becomes the energy that others can't match because they never had to go through the silence. They never had to build their strength from scratch, brick by brick, when no one believed in them. Being alone teaches you to rely on yourself completely. There's no backup plan, no safety net, no hand to pull you up when you fall. You become your own accountability. your own motivation, your own competition. You learn to face the doubt that comes with isolation and turn it into discipline. You stop waiting for someone to push you and start pushing yourself harder than anyone else ever could. That's how warriors are built. Not in crowds, not in comfort, but in solitude, where every decision, every action, and every mistake rests entirely on your shoulders. Isolation also builds emotional strength. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, your insecurities, your fears of being forgotten or unseen. You start to realize that those fears only have power when you run from them. The longer you stay alone, the quieter those voices become, until all that's left is peace. The kind that doesn't rely on anyone or anything outside yourself. That's real freedom. When you stop needing validation, when you stop craving attention, when you find calm in your own company, you become untouchable. You can walk through chaos with focus because your peace isn't dependent on noise. The truth is, isolation reveals who you really are. Without the mask, without the distractions, without the crowd, you see your raw self. And if you have the courage to face that person, you can rebuild from the inside out. You can create a version of yourself that's disciplined, focused, and self-reliant. Every hour spent alone, every moment of silence, every day you keep moving without acknowledgement. It's all energy being converted into power. You learn how to take solitude and turn it into strength, how to take quiet time and turn it into growth, how to take absence and turn it into focus. Most people waste their solitude scrolling, escaping, avoiding. They drown the silence because they're afraid of what it might tell them. But the ones who harness it, the ones who embrace the quiet and use it, they separate themselves from the pack. They turn isolation into a weapon. They come out sharper, calmer, and more dangerous than before. Because when you master the art of being alone, you stop chasing power and start becoming.